Hello everyone and welcome back to my Coronation Street official today. Please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Something truly seismic just happened on Coronation Street, and if you blinked you might have missed just how much has changed in Weatherfield forever. Theo's escalating aggression finally crossed a line that nobody could ignore when he launched a shocking and unprovoked attack on Gary Windus, a man who, for all his complicated history, did not deserve to be caught in the crossfire of someone else's unraveling. But what made this moment so much more than just another dramatic confrontation was just happened next, because Todd Grimshaw, a man who has endured more than most people could survive, finally broke. Not quietly, not privately, but right there in front of everyone. In a blaze of raw, unfiltered emotions that was left the entire community of Weatherfield and every single viewer completely shaken to their core. This is one of those storylines that reminds you exactly why Coronation Street has been capturing hearts for decades. And today we are breaking down every single detail of what went down. To truly understand the magnitude of what happened, you have to go back and look at how we got here, because this did not come out of nowhere. Theo's behavior has been shifting for weeks, and not in a subtle way. What started as quiet manipulation, the kind that creeps under your skin before you even realize what is happening, gradually transformed into something far more overt and far more dangerous. His need for control, which has always present just beneath the surface, began intensifying as his grip on the people around him started to loosen. And that right there is when a person like Theo becomes truly unpredictable. When someone like him feels their influence slipping, they do not gracefully stay back. They double down, they push harder, and everyone around them starts walking on eggshells, terrified of saying the wrong thing, making the wrong move, or simply existing in a way that might set him off. Gary Windus, of all people, found himself directly in Theo's path. Now Gary is not exactly a stranger to conflict. His past is complicated in ways that the show has explored with remarkable depth, but his protective instinct, that deep-seated drive to stand up for people who are being hurt, is something that has always defined him. Even when it puts him in danger, he saw that Theo was doing. He saw the impact it was having on those around him, and he pushed back. That is just who Gary is. But Theo does not respond well to being challenged, and what followed was a confrontation that escalated beyond anything Gary could have anticipated. An attack that was swift, shocking, and deeply unsettling to witness. In that moment, it was no longer just a personality clash or a neighborhood dispute. It was something visceral and real, and the physical stakes became impossible to ignore as the people around them scrambled to make sense of what they were witnessing. I cannot imagine what it must have felt like to be standing there, watching that unfold, but here is where the story truly ignites. Because Todd Grimshaw was watching too, and something inside him snapped. The sight of Theo attacking Gary did not just alarm Todd, it unlocked something. All of the pain, the manipulation, the abuse that Theo had subjected him to over time, feelings he had been pushing down, suppressing, locking away in a place he hoped he would never have to revisit, came flooding back in an instant, and instead of retreating into that familiar place of quiet endurance, Todd exploded. Without hesitation, without calculation, he threw himself into the situation with a level of ferocity that nobody, not even those closest to him, had ever seen before. Imagine carrying all of that weight for so long, and then, in one singular overwhelming moment, having every locked door inside you blow wide open. That is what happened to Todd, and it was both devastating and extraordinary to watch. What followed was a confrontation that crackled with the kind of charged, multi-layered tension that Coronation Street does better than almost any other show on television. Todd was not just fighting for Gary in that moment. He was fighting for himself. For every moment Theo had made him feel powerless. For every time he had swallowed his anger and taught himself to just get through it. This was his reckoning, and Theo, who was already in a heightened, frantic state found himself face to face with a version of Todd he clearly had not prepared for. The usual tools of manipulation were useless here. Todd was not listening to carefully constructed words or veiled threats. He was done, and you could feel that in every single second of that scene. Gary caught somewhere between victim and witness, watched this unfold with the kind of stunned clarity that comes from suddenly understanding how high the stakes truly are. His presence in that moment added incredible texture, because he is not just an innocent bystander. He knows what it is to be consumed by anger, to make choices fueled by emotion rather than reason, and seeing Todd in that state must have stirred something complicated within him too. The community reaction was equally important, because this is Coronation Street, and one of the things that makes the show so enduringly powerful is that nothing happens in isolation. The street has a heartbeat, and every individual conflict sends ripples outward, touching the lives of people who were not even directly involved. As the chaos unfolded and others attempted to step in and restore some semblance of calm, you could see the weight of the moment pressing down on everyone. Alliances were silently shifting, perceptions were being quietly rewritten. This was not just Todd and Gary and Theo. This was an entire community being forced to confront something it had been trying to politely overlook for far too long. The aftermath of this confrontation is where the real storytelling begins, because what happens next for each of these characters matters enormously. For Gary, there is the immediate physical toll of being attacked, but there is also the emotional weight of being the catalyst for something much larger than himself, and that is not a comfortable position to be in. For Theo, this is a turning point that cannot be walked back. His mask has slipped completely. The community's trust in him, already fragile, is now essentially gone, and the scrutiny he will face going forward is going to be relentless. His position in Weatherfield is more precarious than it has ever been, and that precariousness makes him more dangerous, not less. For Todd, the analysis is perhaps the most complex of all. His intervention was brave, undeniably so, and the admiration he receives from those who witnessed it is entirely deserved. But there is also a palpable concern among the people who love him, because they know that what was unleashed in that moment is not something you simply put back in a box. The rage that drove Todd to act was real, and it was justified. But rage that has been suppressed for that long does not simply dissipate once it finally has an outlet. It lingers, it changes you, and the question of whether Todd can channel that energy into something healing rather than something destructive is now that this storyline is clearly setting up to explore with extraordinary care and depth. And just when it feels like the dust has settled, it really hasn't, has it? Because what we have just seen isn't justified. It's a line being crossed that can be uncrossed, and that changes everything. Todd standing up like that might feel powerful in the moment, but there is a quiet danger in it too. Because when pain turns into anger, it doesn't always know when to stop. And honestly, this is where the story becomes even more real, because it's no longer just about Theo losing control. It's about who might lose themselves next. Gary might have been the one attacked, but emotionally, Todd might be one walking into something far more complicated, and maybe even darker. I can't help but feel this isn't a victory. It's the beginning of a new kind of struggle, one that's less visible but far more intense. So now the real question is, has Todd truly taken his power back, or has he stepped into a cycle he's been trying to escape all along? This storyline is one of the most emotionally layered and dramatically rich things Coronation Street has given us in a very long time. And the fact that it keeps evolving and deepening with every episode is a testament to just how much craft is going into every single scene. I want to know what you think about all of this. Do you believe Todd made the right call stepping in the way he did? Is Gary going to come out of this stronger, or will this incident reopen wounds he thought were closed? And is Theo's time in Weatherfield finally running out? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I genuinely want to hear from you. If you are enjoying this content and want to stay on top of every twist and turn as it happens, please make sure you subscribe to Coronation Street Official today and give this video a thumbs up. It means the world and helps this community keeps growing. See you in the next one.